Do you ever remember the boring assignments back in school? Well, in this project, we make creative, engaging alternatives. Today's assignment: create a syllabus for an obscure college class, ideally one that doesn't already exist and has no reason to exist. Your syllabus should cover your grading system, a brief outline on what will be covered during the semester, and many other class policies. Using the contents of the syllabus, you should then create a PowerPoint to go through the document with the class so that everyone for sure understands what the class will entail. You should spend some time in the presentation giving a little more context on each of the topics you will be covering. So, welcome class to Collaborative Universe Building. I am Professor M. Duvenick. You can just call me Professor D. This is English 2187. We are here in the spring 2029 semester. This is me
Cool.
teaching one of my courses. You can reach me at mduvenick@scu.edu. We're here at Southern Columbian University, a total real university that you can see there on the bottom left-hand corner. Our class times: you're all here today, so that's perfect. Meeting Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 9:50, so our 50-hour blocks. This is a 3-credit-hour course here in 215 Washington Hall. I see you have all made it. And you can reach me in my office hours, which is just up one floor and one room over, up in my office at 316 Washington Hall. And then we're also
hold on. Let me write down that Zoom link on a piece of paper.
These slides will be posted to Canvas, so you can access the Zoom on the following link.
It's also on his
thank goodness.
syllabus.
Correct. So that's only by the office hours, so you will need to be here in person for attendance for the actual class hours. All right, so this is not a very big class, and that is by design, so I just want to make sure that we have everybody, for which we do not. I only see about 3 people out there in the class. So is Adam Anderson here? All right, how about Brian Betha? Okay, how about Dylan Giannino? No.
Oh, sorry, I'm Dylan. I'm here.
Oh, okay. There's no Isabel Ingram, Liz Labanca, and what about Austin Pipkins?
Yep, I'm here.
All
Raise my
right, so
hand.
you 3, I have you down. I'll have to make a comment to the class about attendance in the future. Summary of the course. So this is an English course, and so what we're going to be doing is learn a little bit about the building blocks of the elements of story writing and then collaborative narratives. Each of you will craft your own individual stories. However, as a collective class, each of these stories must take place all in the same universe. That is the big twist that comes with this. They will need to share some kind of collective broader narrative. However, the cohesiveness and build up to possibly a final finale is sort of up to you and what you want to do. So this is supposed to encourage individual writing and class-wide coordination to come up with a concept of what your universe, quote-unquote, is going to be. So for instance, the Stephen King universe has loose connections, but there isn't an overarching narrative for which encapsulates all of them. So you'll individually present each one of your stories, quote-unquote, one at a time at the end of the semester over a 2 to 3 week period to tell the broader narrative. So basically all throughout the semester you're going to be writing and developing your stories, and then you're going to present to me, who's going to be the judge of how well you did. And we'll get to grading in a second, but basically it's based on creativity, the quality of the story writing, and the coordination between. So these are some like popular franchises, which is like the biggest well-knowns that all take place within the same universe, but there are different cohesiveness between all of them. So for instance, the Lord of the Rings is very heavy on like the prequels, as is Star Wars as well. It's really just like how you want to make your universe fit, and all the stories should make sense that they are in that universe with that theme. So we're going to spend the first couple of weeks just learning about the fundamentals of story writing, your plot, narrative, archetype, story structure, developing the story writing of character development and cohesion, and then advanced story writing. So this is between stories, what the coordination would be if you hint at something in a previous book or story, how that can be followed up in later stories or novels. So like that would be Easter eggs for the future. And so then in week 4, we're going to kind of like finishing up our lectures, any catch up that we need to do, and then we're going to start brainstorming collaborative week, and that'll go into week 5. Now there is a stipulation. I do need to have the pitched idea for what the universe concept is going to be by week 6, but that is basically when you as a class are going to start writing. And as you can see, all the way through week 11 or so is pretty much going to be your writing week. That is when I am basically just going to take down attendance and kind of just sit back with my feet up on the chair with them crossed and see you guys go at it as what we're going to be looking at. And so then the final drafts are due week 12, and then we're going to be doing the starting presentations or stories, quote unquote, the middle presentations, and the final presentations. So ideally, these presentations should be in the order that, if they were actually produced as real media, would be the actual release order. So for instance, if there's a prequel that makes more sense story-wise to tell later from the audience's perspective, then you might put it in the middle presentations, even though it comes chronologically before. So it's whatever you believe will have the best story elements as from the audience's perspective. And so the expectations that I have for you as a class, I call the CCEE. That is your creativity, collaboration, engagement, and effectiveness. So all of those should be pretty self-explanatory, but to break it down, creativity, I really want a crazy cool universe, something that hasn't been done before. You can take elements from fiction that has been done before because everything has been pretty much beaten to death, but I would like to see different takes on what would happen if actually the Earth had 2 moons, etc. So then collaboration, this is just how well you as a class are able to cohesively create stories. So basically on a writing board, this is what this is going to look like. Make sure that you communicate your ideas effectively. And then engagement, these should be pretty entertaining. These are going to be fairly short stories that I'm going to be hearing from your perspective, so it'll probably be about like 30 minutes per story. And then effectiveness, it should contribute to the overall universe and connect to one another in some way, shape, or form. Okay, it looks this got blocked out in this image here. But basically, this is the grading rubric that I'm going to be going with. Your creativity is going to be 30%. Your quality writing will be 30%. Your collaboration contribution. So this is the effort. So there will be some peer feedback to see where that goes to contribute to that. Your overall presentation and your attendance. So the grading scale is the same as always in most classes. That's your 90 to 100 for A, and then fails anything below a 60. So a lot of the freedom is up to you as a class, but it really comes down to if I approve of a pitched idea, to which I think would be something that I think would be able to get off the ground well. The level of interconnectedness within the world is up to the class, but where it lies on the spectrum, where it could go like MCU, where everything contributes all to one big final event, or it could be somewhat disconnected to where there's a lot of crossovers, but there should be an overall cohesiveness to show that this is within the same world. So I'm giving a lot of class time to write these stories, so use your time wisely. Of course, you can use time outside of class. This is a prior class universe timeline that a prior class did. So this was the premise of the shared universe involves some sort of panspermia, where humanity was a kind of pet project. And so you can, if you count here, this is a total of 12 stories. So I had 12 students that semester, and each of them told basically a point of the story. And so that is kind of how this is supposed to go. Each of you should be presenting what would be the equivalent of a movie or a show or a book in the overall arching franchise. So some of this is like, you can see, what's up?
What the hell is a hide and seek war?
Well, basically, that is about midway point for the Fermi universe. This story in particular involved the political tension between the acceptance or rejection of the existence of aliens. So that was why it was called hide and seek wars. Kind of like where we're at in the current world, how like half of the population really believes that there are other beings among us. That it's kind of like a tension that goes back and forth. That's the premise of that particular story in the overarching narrative. And each of these titles here kind of give an idea of what the story showed. And so there are some like prequels that kind of like show the origin of humanity slowly rising their way to space, and so the eventual integration into intergalactic society. So that's what that overall story was. I do have to go over the Title IX policy. All of that is right here, so you can read it and find the Southern Columbia University. All of it is right here. If you believe that you feel discriminated against or harassed in any way, you can come talk to me, or you can come talk to a counselor. They're going to be in the next building over in the Title IX office, so you can go to them and let me know if there are any issues there. We went over the fundamentals, and then we're going to start our first lecture once we're done with this syllabus one. So let's go over here. Are there any questions?
Yes. Professor Duvnik, I signed up for this class because I thought it was going to kind of be a useless freeloading class that I could get an easy A in. As the concept of our pitch was ideally a class that doesn't already exist and has no reason to exist. However, this class seems actually very useful for writing like a story of a Monster of a Week show with now, overarching narrative that's tied together.
I will point out, ideally one that doesn't already exist and has no reason to exist is in parentheses and thus is probably optional.
That's true.
I will
but
use
in my
that.
mind,
It
not
does,
optional.
It does not. Oh, okay. Let's see what we have here. Does not already exist and has no reason to exist. I would say that there are.
Anyway, I think that
this is a very realistic class. I would take this class if it were MST. Like this
exactly.
is instead of a normal class. Well, but I also
that's fair.
I am acting as Professor Duvnik. Therefore, I don't know of this larger frame of reference in an external observing universe. So I can't speak on behalf of a hypothetical Max Duvnik that would be outside of this understanding. Because I'm sitting here at Southern Columbia University answering student questions, so I don't understand.
Of course. Well, anyway, I think that this is an interesting and likely useful course. I think it is not extremely obscure. I think it actually it's a legitimate thing that could definitely be pitched in an English department of some sort, or like a film class type deal. Well put together class, not one that I've heard that's been taught before, so it is novel to me.
0 to 10, not a question.
I'm commenting, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, he's the real professor.
I'm on the question slide, however, so.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's okay.
You
That's
were
all right.
off the question slide.
All right, that's fine.
Like this whole time, my thought was, this just feels like if you have 7 or 8 different writers for a show that has like 20 episodes, like they're all writing like 2 or 3 episodes each.
Yeah.
They're collaborating back and forth to be like, okay, well, my story is going to be this, but I also don't want to like interrupt your thing or take away from character development or anything like that.
It's more about, so it's not quite that condensed. It's more
exactly, that is true.
It's on it's slightly broader. It's more like,
yeah.
You wouldn't be, I don't want to impede your character development. It would be more like, I don't want to contradict this fact that we've established in the world. Yeah. It'd be more akin to like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. That would be two students because they build on each other, but they are independent stories. And like the franchise that I mentioned are like huge. So I'm thinking more like how an author has a bit of like a series of books that exist in the same world, and sometimes they eventually cross over. Each student will probably stand up and present their story in about like a 30-minute period. It's like a condensed book, but it hits the main highlights of what's happening in the world.
Gotcha.
Yep. So that's what previous classes have done.
I've got a question about grading because like I'm really stressed out this semester. I'm in Betha's luck class and I've already missed 2 of the classes because like I couldn't fucking figure out where the fuck to go or what the fuck. I feel so unlucky. So like I'm hoping that I didn't just sign up for another bullshit class.
Mr.
So, like,
Pipkins,
I have to like?
I don't understand. Are you attending 2 universities?
Yeah, I'm a dual enrolled student and I'm trying to get my degree. And I thought, hey, this university over here has a really cool class on luck. And then it's like, dude's like, well, you're lucky enough to be here. It's like, oh fuck. So like, my GPA is already shot across the WM system or whatever the fuck this dumb university is. It's just, is this gonna be an easy class?
You'll get out of it what you put into it. If anything, collaborate with your...
I'm putting my everything into Betha's luck class. I'm just not getting the grade I want. I gave it a 10 class. So like, is this gonna be an easy one or what?
You can collaborate with your students to get a more or less easier part of the universe. So.
Oh my god! Well, am I lucky? Like, do I have it? Like most students didn't show up to the first day, so like it feels like I'm already screwed.
A lot of the grade also comes down to how the class as a collective cohesively.
Mr. Juvenik, I know, but there's only
professor.
There's only 3 of us here.
My classmates are just no shows. Is our
They're
grade
not
going to be
here.
penalized?
I'm gonna have a talk with the majority of the classes. Like,
if they continue to not show up, will we be penalized?
You will not be penalized if they do not continue to show up. I appreciate you guys showing up.
Okay. Thank God. Okay, so my GPA is gonna be like a 2.
And so if only one of us shows up, then we don't have to worry about the collaboration part.
Dylan, I swear to God, I'm gonna make you the unluckiest motherfucker if you don't show up to class.
There is somewhere in the...
I'll counter that.
There is somewhere... I've never had this issue before, but there is somewhere in the fine print that I will retroactively add that you cannot miss more of 3 classes outside of emergencies, so otherwise you'd be dropped from the course. And if it's just the 3 of you who are going to be participating this semester, it's a pretty easy universe to write, and so... Or I could make it to where each of you have to present 2 stories, so that could be it. So we'll see what happens.
No, okay. Maybe we should show up.
Maybe all of you should show up. Yes, that's the point. Yeah. All right, who's next?
Drive a hard bargain.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
Luckily, I know where
grades.
class is for this one, so should be able to show up.
Okay, this is hilarious.
Yes.
Can I go next? There
there
will be some running gags between.
So I do want to know, Southern Columbia University is not part of the UM system, so I wonder how you are dual enrolled across the country.
It's gonna be very interesting to see how Austin's also enrolled at my school. That's gonna be very difficult. Any canon that makes sense at all.
In the ambiguous state of Columbia. All right, goodbye.
Thanks for watching. Go ahead and give us ideas on what we should do next.